Get the Intel, the podcast meant for those of us trying to find out what the hell is going on in the field. Here we discuss tools, techniques, and approaches that you can implement to streamline operations and let you focus on your craft.
Hello, it's Chad Gill here. I'm the host of the Get the Intel podcast, where I talk with leaders in contracting, management, and really anyone helping us do business better. This episode is brought to you by Laminin Coaching. Laminin is a business coaching company with a focus on contractors in and around construction. We not only help with proposing solutions and methods, but we implement them in your business as well. After all, good ideas are not useful until they're implemented. So visit us at laminincoach.com to see our range of services. Joining me today is Izabela Pal. She is the founder and CEO of IAG Construction, an entrepreneur and a developer. She's a member of the Professional Women in Construction. She immigrated from Poland 12 years ago. Izabela is an example of a true zero-to-millionaire success story. Within the first 5 years of operation, she brought her 100% woman-owned construction company to a multi-million-dollar business, and her future plans include a national expansion. So Izabela, thank you for coming on the show. I guess thank you for coming from Poland. Gosh, you're helping us out already.
I know, right? I know. When you read it, it sounds awesome.
I know. Sometimes you read those, you're like, I don't remember that. Yeah, that is awesome.
You're right.
I'm pretty damn impressive. I forgot.
Exactly. It's good to hear it sometimes from other people.
It's good to be reminded. Exactly.
Yeah.
So what is the story of coming from Poland? And then, naturally, construction not normally dominated by women. Certainly you were dominating, and that's great. How does that story progress?
You know what? I don't even know how it happens to be construction, but I've always knew that I loved business. And I really think I'm good at it. And this is something I've always knew I'm going to be doing at some point, whether I'm going to be, selling donuts or working in construction. It would still be business somehow. So when I moved to New York, one of the first companies I worked in was a construction company. It was a different trade, but still, I was working a lot in construction. I really enjoyed working with people and, trying to find solutions to problems that might be a little bit more complex. I really liked it. I got involved in project management. I worked as a project manager, then senior project manager for over 5 years. And at some point, once I knew all the tricks and tweaks, I figured, let me open and do it on my own. And why not? This is ultimately what I would like to do. And we opened back in 2018. First big year for us was 2020, which you can imagine it was not the easiest year to start, a company like this, especially having such a huge, it's not even about payroll, but first we got hit by the huge insurance. And especially if you work on the exterior, right, in New York City, your insurance gets really, really crazy. And then COVID hit. We struggled, but we survived, which I'm very proud of. And that taught me a lot. Seriously, that taught me a lot. Then 2021, thankfully, thanks to all the, I think it's all people's business, whatever business you are in, again, whether it's construction or selling donuts, you are in people's business. And understanding that part, the sooner you understand it, the sooner I think you can figure out how to be successful or how to get to that point where you can say, yeah, my business is successful. And thanks to those connections, I think we had a lot of new projects signed up in 2021. And at that time, it hit me, whatever was happening with COVID, where everybody was moving out of New York because since, there was no work, you don't have to go to the office anymore, you can work remotely. Why would you stay and pay this incredibly high rent? People started moving out of New York. Developers started noticing it, and they moved out of New York. So then when I saw that, I'm like, you know what? Who's going to come next? GCs and then the subcontractors. So since I'm the subcontractor, I started approaching them very quickly. And that's how I got into other markets in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And basically, I'm just following the, the trend, following the wave, like I always say. So I believe that, by watching the trend and just trying, by watching the trend and following the trend, you can really be successful and accomplish a lot. What else? Since then, I would say we are expanding. We've been expanding. Right now, our main office is in the World Trade Center, 85th floor. We have another office in Philadelphia. We are hiring currently. We have 120 people on our payroll. What's unique for us is we do not hire subcontractors. So we are a subcontractor, but all these 120 people are actually working for IAG Construction, which is challenging. I'm not going to say it's not. It's very challenging, but
Sure.
On the other hand, my primary goal was to develop certain company culture and make sure that every single person working for IAG is on the same page. And we are really working hard to make sure that happens. And in order to achieve that, you can't have subcontractors. You actually have to make sure that you're training every single individual properly so everybody follows certain standards and rules. And this is how I think we can strive for perfection and make sure we can expand more and more and more to other markets. We are WBE and WBE, right? I am 100% owner of IAG. So we are right now, applying to get certification with the state of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. We're certified with New York State and New York City. We are also bondable, which means, which lets us work for those high profile clients. And we are also involved to a certain point with the city of New York HPD department, right? Prevailing wages. We're doing some of the prevailing wages. So yeah, we'll see. It looks like the future looks good. And next year is really another, I think, bigger year than the previous one. So like our trajectory of growth, I see it's constant, but we keep growing very, very fast, which makes me super happy, honestly.
Yeah. And it comes with its own challenges. Like, how do you grow that fast and keep your culture that you work so hard for?
Yes, it is a challenge, and it's not always that perfect, of course, right? You're striving for perfection, but I think that you have to just really enjoy the process. Because, even in this process of striving for perfection, if your goal is that perfection at the end of the process, you will never be happy. I feel like enjoying the process, getting to that perfection and getting to that ultimate goal, I think that's what makes us different and really like each other. So even though we have 120 employees, right? I would say 50 of those, we are really close. Very, very close. Everybody knows each other, and we are like a family. So we are really trying to keep that company atmosphere the same, whether we are 120 employees or 500 employees. And in order to do that, you have to make sure you have the best management you can get out there. And that best management, I think the recipe for that success is to hire friends, to hire people you know and you like. And really, I heard a lot when I worked for other people, a lot of them saying like, oh, never hire friends, never work with friends. It's always tricky, never hire family, never work with the family. It's tricky. Yeah, it's different. But on the other hand, you have people that that are closest to you in your personal life. They are also close to you in your business life, and you know them already. You can trust them. You know what they need to be happy. They know what you need to be happy. It's like a mutual understanding. I always tell my closest team, guys, like we are literally here not just to, I never wanted to create an atmosphere where people wake up, they go to work and they think like, oh my gosh, it's Monday today, I have to go to work. Nah, 8 o'clock, I have to leave. I'm going home. Like I never wanted to create that 9 to 5 company culture. I wanted really to work hard to make sure that people are happy when they wake up in the morning and they get to work. I don't micromanage people. I don't check whether you showed up at 8 o'clock or 8:05, 9 o'clock or 9:30. I know that people have their lives and their personal problems. I only have a problem if you don't execute and if you don't get your, projects done. But whether you get it done at 9:05 or 9:05 at night, I have zero problem with that, right? So I think by accommodating, and again, hiring friends, hiring people you trust and you like, I think, if you show, maybe that sounds naive, but if you show that you're a good person, many people will respond the same way. So it's not really that you have to show yourself as a tough boss that people will respond and listen to you, because then they respond from the place of fear, which is never a long-term solution. If you want to build a long-term team, I really believe that you want people to respond from this, place of safety, security, and trust, and them knowing that I care about them so they can care about me, right?
That's perfect. Yeah, no, it's funny. You're the third person that I have interviewed that said that hiring friends and hiring family is something that they do, and all three of them were women, you included. It's interesting. I wonder if it's because women make friends differently than guys do, or if it's a different aspect of, or if it's just because you're just unabashed about saying the truth. I mean, that could be what it is.
No, I'll tell you why. Because our egos are not that, big, not as big as man's egos. And by nature, they want to show their ego. They want to, they want to show they are tough, masculine, right? That's the tribute of men. And the women, on the other hand, I believe we are more trustworthy, and we are willing to share our trust with others and build something based on positive values. And I think value like a kindness, right? Something that's, imagine in construction, especially masonry, concrete, like, what are we talking about? What kindness, right? So I remember even when I started working for those other companies, I was shocked. It was like just, mean environment for no reason. And I work in the same environment right now, but that doesn't mean, I encounter certain people, situations that are not very positive, but still, you know what? I look at that person, doesn't matter who that is. I look at that person and I feel sorry for them, because I can imagine how sad their life is, that they have to approach others from that, perspective. But the way I respond is, something I control. So even though somebody is attacking you or whatever, I never try to respond from a place of anger, fear, or whatever, like I always try to be more empathetic and respond from a place of kindness. And I think based on kindness, you actually can build empires. And that's where we are going. And that's the whole philosophy and approach of IAG. That's what
I think that makes great sense. I think it's very wise of you. I think that normally the person that's the most angry in the room has the least amount of control for the situation, the negotiation, any part of what you're doing. If the emotions get too high, you just can't function very well. And like you said, there's a lot of ego. I mean, hands down, I absolutely agree. There's lots and lots of ego, and if you can check that at the door, I believe that gives you a much higher. I don't know, you have a better place to negotiate from, or to work from, a better elevation to it.
Yeah. So, you know what? I remember when I was asked by one of the companies in the beginning when they were hiring me, why do you think you would be the right person for this position? And I was the only woman in that company at the time. So I said, because you know what? I believe that women are natural managers. So imagine and compare. A typical guy waking up in the morning, what do you think about? Probably things you're going to do within the next 10, 15 minutes, right? That's a typical guy waking up in the morning. Where a woman, typical woman, even a stay-home mom, right? A homemaker, she already has her entire day planned out. She knows exactly what she's going to do at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. She will take care of everyone around her and herself and make sure everything is perfect. Why would you say in this world would just say that a man is a better manager than a woman. So I've always believed that, and I saw it. I experienced so much of it. I was raised by a single mom. That was also something I've always, observed as a child, like how much she could do in a day versus many men that I've met. They couldn't do even a quarter of it. So it's just something I really believe in, and that's why I try to empower other women to do the same, because we can do it. Like, sky is the limit. And just because it's a concrete industry or masonry or whatever else it is that people tell you cannot do, yes, you can. So
that's awesome. And so do you find that, do you hire a lot of women inside of your company as well?
I do. I don't go to the other extreme. Like, it's not like I'm going to hire women only. No, because that's also not the way to go. I hire everyone. I just don't filter people because you're a woman or man or whatever other criteria, right? I just try to hire people that are competent and trustworthy. And like I said, they happen to be my friends. A lot of them happen to be my friends. My husband, even, when I opened IAG, he worked for totally different company than another company. And then at some point, I think in 2021, I told him, we're getting a lot of work. I think you should work for IAG. And he started working for IAG. It's my husband. It's a situation even more difficult than hiring friends, right? But I think it's been great. We have completely separate offices. We don't see each other at all during the day. It's really, it can work. It's possible. And by doing that, again, you get to work with people around you that you can trust. And that's a big thing. That's a very big thing. If you want to grow as a business owner, you need that time, freedom, and mindset to be creative enough to be able to grow.
Wow, that's fantastic. And you're in a tough place. I mean, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. I mean, this is not the easiest place to make it, but like you said, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. But it's amazing.
You can make it anywhere. Yes. Yes.
That's
Yes.
it. So for those not familiar with IAJ, what is your main scope of work?
So our main scope of work is masonry. We're doing brick, block, stucco, EIFS. We do own our own scaffolding, so we self-perform that part of work too. We're doing anywhere from, 8-story buildings, right, to 57-story hotels. So it's really varies, but the scope is the same. We recently started doing also metal panels. So that's something we're kind of trying, because, 9 out of 10 times GCs come and they ask, okay, so since you're doing the entire facade, why not metal panels, right? So this is something we started working on. We're developing a team that's going to be our metal panel team. And again, it all takes training and, making sure it's all a quality work. And also safety, right? It's a big thing in New York. So we recently hired our in-house safety manager, which helps a lot, because he can basically visit from project to project, give us in-house report, which helps tremendously to avoid any accidents. Having 120 people, I always tell my director of operations or my supers, I always tell them, it's your responsibility to make sure that everybody coming to work today can come back home, safely. That's a big thing, it's construction. It's not, you're not working in the office, we can sit here nicely talking about anything, but these guys are out there, sometimes they are working, like I said, 57 stories. If you're working on the edge of the building, it's a no joke. And sometimes they don't realize the risk they are in. So it's a big thing. It was a big thing for me to make sure that I have the right person, making sure that these guys are informed on a daily basis. They know what to do, and they know that, yes, production is always our focus, right? We want to make money, but a number one focus is always safety.
Yeah, no, well, absolutely. I mean, it's just, you build a team like that. And like you said, you're working with a lot of friends. You don't want to lose a friend.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's just that would be even worse, and it's already bad. So what is the biggest challenge that Like if you were like, hey, if you were talking to another business owner who's coming up and saying, hey, here's something that I didn't expect or didn't think was a big deal, but suddenly became, like a big deal, like an enlightening moment for you.
Enlightening moment for me. Enlightening moment for me. Let me think. I think, so I think when you scale the business, I can say it's, from that perspective, there are not too many people that are scaling to this point. They're, I always say this crazy because I always say I am crazy. That's why, my vision for the future is always really, like something that not too many people maybe think about. But, so I would say scaling the business, right? Many people ask me, how did you do it? Like, how would you establish a new team in a completely new spot, right? Because majority of business owners, owners of construction companies, they think of it, okay, I'm gonna stay within like a 2-hour proximity or whatever, a 50-mile, 100-mile radius, and I'm not moving anywhere else because, okay, where am I gonna get the guys from? How am I gonna transport them? How am I gonna make sure that they are on the job site on time, right? They think of it this way. So to me, it was always like, what I did, I took the team of 10 guys. I literally moved them to a new location. I rented a house for them. They stayed there. They lived there. They worked there. And I made sure that the foreman, the super who's in charge of them, is hiring people from the local people, right? People from that area. And setting up, and that setup was successful. It actually was successful. Now we have local employees in every location, right, where we work pretty much in these 3 states. And so aha moment for me was realizing that if you focus on every little detail right away, it makes it look like it's so extremely difficult and impossible to execute. Just think of it in general first, try to set it up. Don't get into details right away too much. Just set up your plan more or less, and then slowly try to execute it. So don't overthink everything. I think that's one of the most important things that very little people understand, and too many people think of every single next plan, challenge, whatever, as, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it? You don't have to know right away how to do it. Just do it. I even tell my team members, just do it. You don't have to know every single step of the way. Just do it. Just do it, and then we'll take it one step at a time. Recently, we had this, actually my media manager, she was doing an interview with like our employees for some LinkedIn short videos, right? And I heard that from one of my employees, and that was awesome. I was really so happy, genuinely happy that he thinks that way. It was a surprise for me. So he said that, in IEG, he actually learned that nothing is impossible. Things that he thought before would be impossible, in this company, he actually had learned that nothing, literally nothing in this world is impossible. You just have to, I guess the word is, be resourceful. Even don't focus on not having resources, be resourceful. Find the resources.
That is awesome. I love that. Yeah. So
yeah, me too. I was so happy, like genuinely. I'm like, wow, that is the reason why I started this thing.
That's fantastic. No, and you're right. Very few people they don't like that unknown of, I know steps 1 and 2 of 5-step process. Yeah. They're like, if I don't know all 5, I'm not even starting. You're like, you're not at step 3 yet. Just go.
Yeah, just go. Exactly. Just do it. Don't overthink. Just do it. That's my best advice to any business owner. Again, whether you're selling donuts or bricks, the same thing. Just go for it. Just do it.
Get busy being busy.
Exactly. And just know and stay cool. And don't like overthink. Don't analyze too much. Don't try to break it down into, 50 different pieces. Just keep going. You will make mistakes, and it's okay. They will teach you so much. That year 2020 was one of the toughest years in my life, but because we survived, I feel so much stronger, going and just moving ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of like military boot camp. You went through something really hard, so you can look back at it and go, "Well, at least it wasn't like that."
Exactly. Exactly.
Hopefully, we don't have to redo one of those. So that'd be great.
Right?
Well, Isabella, it sounds like you are not lacking for ambition or the ability to make it happen. So I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and this is fantastic. And your story is inspiring, and I think it's
Thank you
great.
for having me.
I have two daughters of my own, and it's the same thing. It's like, look, you can go do whatever it is you want to do. Don't look for an excuse.
Right. You were a business coach, right? Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and they probably none of them will go into business. I got one who's like going to go into medicine. I got another who's engineering. I'm like, okay, it's a teacher. I mean, it's like, does anybody want to do this?
Right. I know.
But
I think it has a lot to do also with the background. I was fortunate enough to have a pretty tough background, right? So when I came from Poland and everything, like back in Poland, like my life was not all that perfect. And that's why I call it fortunate, because people usually who struggle a lot in their early life, they're tougher. It's easier for them to be crazy enough to dream and then execute, because they just have nothing to lose, right? That's what it is. It's like, I have one life. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna just sit and watch Netflix, or am I gonna go out there and go and chase my dreams?
Get busy living. Absolutely. That is fantastic. Gosh, you've been a joy to talk to. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Same here. Have a good day.
Might be seeing IEG in DC soon. I'll keep an eye out.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to Get the Intel. We'll see you next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.